Infinite Codex, the system that writes destiny. Chapter 1. I never planned on dying at 27. The rain-slicked Seattle street reflected neon like a broken mirror. My VR headset was still strapped to my face, the cord dragging behind me as I stumbled out of the corner store with a lukewarm energy drink in one hand. I'd been up for 43 hours straight playtesting my own damn game, Eternal Realms Online, and the beta build had finally crashed my rig for the last time. I just needed caffeine. 5 minutes. That's all. Headlights flooded the crosswalk. A semi-truck, horn blaring like the end of the world. I had time for one thought. At least my save file is auto-backed up. Then impact. No pain. Just nothing. A black so absolute it swallowed sound, color, even the memory of breathing. I floated there for what felt like eternity and also 0 seconds. A voice, calm, genderless, ancient, rippled through the void. Host detected. Soul integrity, 100%. World transfer initiating. System core binding complete. Golden light exploded behind my eyelids. Text, actual glowing blue text, scrolled across the darkness like a game UI I'd coded myself. Welcome, Aiden Blackwood. The Infinite Codex system has chosen you. All previous world laws are overwritten. You are now in Verdantia. Current level, 1. Class, none. Title, the first true scribe, unique. HP, 100/100. MP, 150/150. Strength, 6. Agility, 9. Vitality, 7. Intelligence, 22. Wisdom, 14. Luck, 8. Codex pages unlocked, 0/infinity. I tried to scream. No mouth. Just the words burning into my soul. Scanning host memories. Game designer. Overworked. Died stupidly. Narrative potential, S rank. Destiny page, 0 generating. A single glowing parchment materialized in the void, ink still wet. Page 0, the death of a gamer. Aiden Blackwood perished because the real world had no save point. Reward, +10 to all base stats permanently. Bonus, Codex skin skill unlocked at max proficiency. The numbers in my status screen skyrocketed. Strength 16. Agility 19. Intelligence 32. Everything felt sharper, like someone had turned the graphics slider from low to ultra. Then gravity remembered me. I slammed face first into dirt that smelled like moss, pine, and something metallic. Blood? My blood? I groaned, rolled over, and stared up at a canopy so thick the sky was only hints of teal between leaves the size of dinner plates. 2 moons, one silver, one blood red, hung low enough to touch. System, I croaked. My voice worked. Thank God. A soft chime answered directly in my skull. Infinite Codex system online. Good morning, scribe. Standard tutorial begins now. A translucent blue window floated 6 inches from my nose. Tutorial quest generated, Weaver mode activated. Survive the next 60 minutes. Reward, first destiny page plus random skill book. Failure, permanent death. No respawn. 60 minutes. I sat up fast. My body felt lighter, stronger. The old back pain from 10 years at a desk was gone. Muscles I hadn't used since high school track flexed without protest. Something rustled in the underbrush 20 feet away. Yellow eyes reflected the moonlight. A wolf the size of a small horse stepped out, black fur, bone spikes along its spine, saliva dripping like acid. Codex scan initiated. The creature's entire stat block unfolded like a Wikipedia page I'd written. Shadowthorn Wolf, level 8. HP, 420/420. Skills, Acid Saliva, Pack Call, Night Stealth. Weakness, Fire, light-based attacks, exposed underbelly after roar. Lore, Apex Predator of the Whispering Woods. Hates humans because the false system users hunt them for pelts. I had 0 weapons. Just the clothes I'd died in, jeans, black hoodie, and one sad energy drink can still clutched in my left hand. The wolf lunged. Time slowed. Not literally. My new intelligence 32 just processed everything at once. I dove left, rolled behind a fallen log, and slammed my palm against the wolf's flank as it passed. Codex scan complete. Skill partially copied. Acid Saliva, incomplete. New entry written to Codex. First contact, the wolf that missed. A glowing page flipped open in my mind's eye. Golden letters burned themselves in. Page 1, First contact. Aiden Blackwood faced death again and chose to scan instead of scream. Reward, +5 permanent agility. Bonus skill unlocked. Minor acid spit, level 1. Costs 10 MP, cooldown 30 seconds. I felt the knowledge pour into my muscles like muscle memory from a game I'd played 1,000 hours. I spat. A glob of glowing green flew from my mouth and hit the wolf's hind leg. It howled, half rage, half surprise, as smoke rose from melting fur. The beast roared. 3 more pairs of yellow eyes lit up in the trees. Pack call skill activated. 3 level 6 Shadowthorn wolves incoming. ETA, 12 seconds. I was already running. Branches whipped my face. Roots tried to trip me, but my new stats turned the forest into a parkour course. I vaulted a log, slid under a low branch, and skidded to a stop beside a stream that glowed faintly blue. Mana-rich water. The Codex fed me the info instantly. I slammed both hands into the stream and activated the only other thing I could think of. Quest Weaver. I shouted. Generate emergency survival quest. River of First Blood. Quest Weaver engaged. Custom quest created. Title, River of First Blood. Objective, use the environment and your new skill to defeat or repel 4 Shadowthorn wolves. Reward, level +2, 1 common skill book, Destiny page 2. Difficulty, C rank, because you got creative. The first wolf crashed through the bushes. I scooped a handful of glowing water, mixed it with another acid spit, and hurled the glowing blue-green blob like a baseball. Critical hit. The wolf's face melted. It dropped twitching. Destiny page progress, +15%. Narrative flare detected. The other 3 circled. I backed into the river up to my knees. The water itself seemed to respond. Tiny motes of light swirling around my legs like fireflies. Environmental scan complete. Mana spring detected. Temporary buff available. Mana regeneration times 3 while submerged. I grinned for the first time since dying. Come on then, I told the wolves. Let's write page 2. They charged as one. I spat acid, hurled mana-charged water orbs, dodged with my boosted agility, and narrated every move out loud like I was doing a let's play. Left wolf, acid spit to the eyes. Right wolf, mana, orb to the ribs. Center, slide tackle, underbelly exposed, spit again. By the time the last wolf collapsed, steam rising from its corpse, my hands were shaking and my MP was at 12/150. But the notifications exploded like fireworks. Quest River of First Blood complete. Level up. You are now level 3. Plus 10 stat points allocated by Codex. Intelligence and agility favored. Skill book received. Basic Fireball, rare. Destiny page 2 written. The gamer who fought back with spit and creativity. Reward, +15 permanent intelligence. Title upgraded. The first true scribe, minor legend. I collapsed onto the riverbank, laughing breathlessly. The 2 moons watched me like they were taking notes. The Codex chimed softly, almost kindly. Host has survived the tutorial window. First companion marker detected 3.7 kilometers north. New main quest generated, Saga 1, Survival. Reach the village of Oakshade before sunrise. Warning, false system users control the roads. Difficulty, B rank. Do you accept? Y/N. I stared at the glowing Y/N floating in front of me. My hoodie was torn, my jeans soaked. I smelled like acid and wolf blood, and I had never felt more alive. I whispered the only answer that made sense. Yes. The Codex flipped to a blank page, ink already forming at the top. Page 3, the first true scribe accepts his fate. And just like that, the story began. The 2 moons were sinking toward the horizon when I finally left the glowing river behind. My clothes were still damp, my hands smelled like acid and mana, but the Codex hummed in my head like a satisfied cat. Main quest updated. Reach the village of Oakshade before sunrise. 3.2 kilometers remaining. Current level, 3. Destiny page, 2 complete. Narrative overdrive bonus applied. +8 permanent wisdom. I laughed under my breath. 60 minutes to survive, and I already feel like I cheated the tutorial. The forest had changed. The trees grew taller here, silver bark catching the moonlight, and faint glowing vines climbed them like living runes. Every few steps the Codex pinged me with tiny scans. Harmless glowing mushrooms, edible, minor MP restore. A level 2 flutterwing butterfly, 0 threat, beautiful wing patterns. It was like having a walking Wikipedia that actually cared if I lived. A scream ripped through the quiet, sharp, angry, followed by the clash of steel. I froze. Codex scan triggered automatically on nearby life signs. 3 humanoids. 2 men in black and gold tabards. 1 slender figure in green leather, half hidden behind a tree. I crept forward, heart hammering with my new agility. Peering between leaves, I saw her. Tall, silver-haired, pointed ears, a half-elf. She was bleeding from a shallow cut on her arm, bow drawn, arrow nocked. The 2 men circled her with drawn swords that glowed with unnatural red runes. False system users detected. Hunter Knight rank 2, level 12 each. Guild, Order of the False Light. Enforcers of the Architect's balanced system. They believe only their system is real. They hunt anyone with anomalous power. The half-elf's voice was ice-cold. You false light dogs will never take my clan's relic. Tell your Lord Malachar he can choke on it. One hunter laughed. Your clan's dead, freak. The codex you carry is illegal. Hand it over, and we'll make your death quick. I didn't think. I just stepped out of the bushes, hands raised like an idiot gamer who'd forgotten he wasn't in a cut scene. Hey, leave the lady alone. This is a no PvP zone. Both hunters spun. The half-elf's golden eyes widened in shock. Codex scan complete on target. Lyrial Night Whisper. Race, half-elf, Shadow Clan Remnant. Level 9. Skills, Silent Step, Poison Arrow Crafting, Clan Relic Bond. Lore, last survivor of the Night Whisper clan. Hates the false system with every breath. Potential ally rating S. The taller hunter sneered. Another anomaly. Fresh meat for the architect. Kill them both. They charged. I activated Quest Weaver on the fly. New quest. First Alliance. Protect the half-elf scout. Rewards. Major destiny page. Shared skill unlock. And whatever the hell she's carrying. Quest Weaver accepted. Difficulty bumped to B+ because you're showing off. Lyrial didn't hesitate. She loosed an arrow that glowed green and slammed into one hunter's shoulder. He roared as poison ate through his armor. I spat a glob of minor acid spit straight into the second hunter's face. He screamed, sword dropping. Critical hit. Narrative flare detected. The gamer and the elf tag team. Destiny page, 3 writing in real time. We moved like we'd fought together for years. She flipped over a log, firing midair. I scooped glowing river mud, still mana charged from earlier, and hurled it as an improvised orb. The second hunter went down choking on acid and light. The first hunter, wounded, tried to run. Lyrial's next arrow took him in the knee. I finished him with a point-blank acid spit and the new basic fireball from my inventory, a tiny spinning orb of flame that exploded against his chest in a satisfying whoosh. Combat complete. Level up. You are now level 6. Stat points auto-allocated. Intelligence and agility prioritized. Destiny page 3 complete. The first true scribe finds his first ally. Reward, permanent plus 12 agility. New skill. Codex link. Share 1 page with chosen ally. Lyrial lowered her bow, breathing hard, staring at me like I was a myth come to life. Blood trickled down her arm, but she didn't seem to notice. What are you? Her voice was musical, edged with suspicion. Your power isn't from the false system. It's writing itself. I grinned, wiping sweat and wolf blood off my forehead. Name's Aiden Blackwood. Gamer from another world. Got Isekai with a system that writes my destiny instead of following someone else's rules. You. She hesitated, then offered her uninjured hand. Lyrial Night Whisper. Last of the Shadow Clan. That relic they wanted. She tapped a small glowing crystal pendant at her throat. It's the only proof the True Codex ever existed. The one before the architect corrupted everything. I reached out and gently touched the crystal with one finger. Codex scan on relic. True Codex fragment, partial. Would you like to link pages with Lyrial Night Whisper? Y/N. I chose Y. Golden light flared between us. A new shared page appeared in both our minds. Party Codex link established. Lyrial gains plus 5 permanent intelligence. You gain access to Silent Step, Basic. Narrative overdrive triggered. First companion bond formed. Massive bonus incoming. Lyrial gasped as new power flooded her. Her eyes widened. This is real power. not their lies. We stood there under the 2 moons, the bodies of the false light hunters already dissolving into black smoke. She looked at me, half smile, half wary. You're either the stupidest man I've ever met, or the one the old stories promised would come. I laughed. Probably both. Now, about that village. A distant horn blew. 3 long, desperate notes. Main quest update. Oakshade Village is under attack by a false light raiding party. ETA to arrival, 18 minutes. New party quest. Defend the village with your new ally. Reward, level +4 each. Village reputation unlocked. Destiny page 4. Lyriel knocked another arrow. Then we run. Together. I nodded, already feeling the next page writing itself. Together. We ran. With my boosted agility and Lyriel's silent step, the forest blurred into streaks of silver and shadow. The Codex fed me real-time map updates, a narrow game trail, a fallen bridge we leaped in one bound, a pack of level 4 forest boars that wisely decided to stay hidden when they saw us coming. Lyriel glanced sideways at me as we ran. Your system, it talks to you? Constantly. I panted, grinning. Like the world's most helpful game UI. Right now it's telling me the village has 30 civilians, 1 dwarf blacksmith who's holding the gate, and about 15 false light raiders led by a level 18 knight captain. She hissed. Malakar's dogs. They burn villages that refuse their protection tax. We burst from the treeline into open fields. Oakshade was small, maybe 40 wooden houses ringed by a low palisade, but it was burning. Torches and red glowing swords lit the night as raiders dragged screaming villagers into the square. At the gate, a stocky dwarf in a soot-stained apron swung a massive hammer, smashing one raider into paste. Codex scan. Bromstonemer, level 11 dwarf warrior / blacksmith. Potential companion, a rank. Loves good ale and legendary gear. Hold the line, ye cowards, the dwarf bellowed. Lyriel, and I didn't slow down. I activated Quest Weaver at full volume so the whole village could hear. New public quest. Scribe's first stand, defend Oakshade. Rewards, Village Alliance, major loot, and a Destiny page so big it'll echo across the continent. Quest Weaver broadcast complete. Difficulty, a rank. Villagers and Brum now see the quest window. The effect was instant. Civilians who'd been cowering suddenly grabbed pitchforks and stones. Brom roared with laughter. A new system user who ain't false light? I'm in. Lyriel and I hit the raiders like a storm. I scanned the leader mid-charge. Level 18 knight captain, heavy plate, glowing red sword. Weakness, light and narrative disruption. Time to get creative. I shouted. I slammed my palm against the ground and triggered every new skill at once. Acid spit mixed with basic fireball created green flaming orbs that I hurled like grenades. Lyriel's poison arrows rained down from the rooftops she'd scaled in seconds. Brom's hammer swung in wide arcs, cracking armor like eggshells. Every kill wrote more on the shared page. Destiny page for writing. The night the false light burned. Narrative overdrive exploding, villagers cheering your name. By the time the last raider fled screaming into the woods, the fires were out, thanks to a quick mana-charged water spell I improvised. And the village square was full of stunned survivors. Quest complete. Level up. You are now level 10. Lyriel level 13. Brom invited to temporary party, level 12. New title. Protector of Oakshade, local legend. Reward. 500 gold, village treasury. Blacksmithing starter kit from Brom, and 1 rare skill book, page burst. Release stored destiny energy as an AoE attack. Brom clapped me on the back hard enough to stagger me. Lad, ye fight like a bard's tale. That hammer o' mine's been waiting for a proper system to enchant. Ye got one. Lyriel stepped forward, crystal pendant glowing softly. He has something better. He writes the tale. The villagers started chanting, scribe, 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 and the Codex drank it in like fine wine. Destiny page for complete. Massive permanent bonuses applied across the party. New main quest chain unlocked. Found the Codex Guild. First branch, in Oakshade. I looked at Lyriel and Brom, both now glowing faintly with shared Codex light. For the first time since the truck, I felt like this wasn't just survival. This was the beginning of something that could actually change the world. But as the cheers died down, the Codex chimed with a warning tone I hadn't heard before. Alert! Lord Malachar has been notified of anomalous power in Oakshade. His personal strike force is en route. ETA, 36 hours. Difficulty spike incoming. I grin anyway. Let them come, I said quietly. We've got pages to write. The first rays of dawn broke over Oakshade like a promise written in light. The village was alive with the sounds of repair, axes chopping wood, children laughing for the first time since the raid. The smell of fresh bread and roasted meat wafted from the square, a small celebration already brewing. I stepped out of the modest hut the mayor had lent me, my torn hoodie replaced by a simple tunic from the village stores. The codex felt warmer in my mind, like a friend watching over me. Rest bonus applied. All stats temporarily +5 for the day. Destiny page 4 fully integrated. Lyriel was leaning against the wall, her silver hair catching the light, the crystal pendant at her throat pulsing softly. She looked at me with those golden eyes, a small smile playing on her lips. You snore like a bear, scribe, but you saved us all last night. The villagers are calling you a legend already. I rubbed the back of my neck, grinning. Hey, it's the system doing the heavy lifting. Without your arrows and Brahm's hammer, I'd be wolf food again. Brahm's booming laugh echoed from the blacksmith shop across the street. Lad, get your backside over here. The forge is hot, and your codex is the missing piece I've waited my whole life for. We followed the dwarf into his workshop. The air was thick with the scent of hot metal and charcoal. Anvils, tools, and half-finished weapons lined the walls. Brahm gestured grandly to a pile of loot from the raiders, twisted swords, mana-infused plate pieces, and the acid-stained pelts from my wolf fight. Scan M, scribe. Make him sing. I raised my hand and triggered codex scan on the pile. The system flooded me with information. False light steel sword fragment, level 18. Contains corrupted system runes. Weakness. Infusion with True Codex energy can purify and upgrade to legendary tier. Shadowthorn wolf pelt. High durability, acid resistant. Synergy with minor acid spit skill. Can create self-repairing armor. Raider mana crystal, pure MP storage. Can be woven into weapons for spell amplification. Perfect, I muttered. Quest Weaver. Create custom crafting quest. The Forge of New Legends. Objective. Use codex to enhance party gear using these materials. Reward. 3 legendary starter items. Party level +3. New destiny page. The system chimed. Quest Weaver engaged. Difficulty, B rank. Narrative flare high. Villagers watching. Brahm's eyes lit up as the quest window appeared for him too. By the gods, this is real power. Let's get to work. For the next several hours, the forge rang with hammers and magic. Brahm swung his hammer with dwarf precision while I channeled the codex. I pointed at the steel, and pages flipped in my mind, writing new runes of destiny. The metal glowed golden as I infused it with narrative overdrive. The story of our battle last night fueling the upgrade. The first item was for Brahm, a massive hammer head reshaped, now etched with glowing pages. Item created, Stonehammer of the Scribe, rare legendary. Effect, plus 50% damage to false system users. Self-repair using destiny pages. Bonus, when swung, releases page, burst AoE. Brahm roared with joy, swinging it and cracking the anvil slightly. This is the stuff of legends, lad. Next, for Lyriel, I took the wolf pelts and crystals, weaving them into a new quiver and bowstring. Item created, Night Whisper Quiver, legendary. Effect, infinite arrows when linked to codex. Poison arrows auto-upgrade with party levels. Lyriel tested it, firing a glowing arrow that returned to the quiver. Her smile was genuine. Aiden, this is the power my clan dreamed of. The True Codex is alive in you. Then, my own upgrade, the hoodie from Earth, now infused. Item created, Scribe's Codex Cloak, legendary. Effect, plus 20 intelligence, mana regen in combat, Cloak of Pages, can store and release small destiny pages as shields. I felt the fabric shift, becoming tougher, with faint golden lines like pages. Quest complete. Level up. You are now level 13. Lyriel level 16. Brahm level 15. Destiny page 5 written. The Forge that bound 3 fates. Reward. Permanent plus 10 to all party stats when together. As the sun climbed higher, Lyriel and I stepped outside for a breath. The forge heat was intense, but the air between us felt charged with something else. She touched the crystal at her throat, then my hand. Aiden, the stories my mother told, they spoke of a scribe who would rewrite the architect's lies. I think that's you. And I'm glad the codex linked us. Her fingers lingered. The codex pinged softly. Party codex link deepened. New shared page. The spark of two worlds. Bonus. Minor emotional insight. Lyriel feels hope for the first time in years. I squeezed her hand gently. I'm glad too, Lyriel. This story is just starting, and I want you in every page. It was a small moment, but the romance spark was there, slow, real, building. Brom interrupted with a chuckle. Enough mooning, ye two. The village is waiting. Time to make this official. In the square, the villagers had gathered. I stepped onto a makeshift platform and activated Quest Weaver at full broadcast. New public quest. Birth of the Codex Guild, Oakshade Branch. Objective. Officially found the guild under the Infinite Codex system. Rewards. Guild Hall Token. Shared reputation. New skills for all members. Massive destiny page. The window appeared for everyone. Quest accepted by 32 villagers. Cheers erupted. Brom slammed his new hammer. Lyriel stood by my side. The system exploded with notifications. Guild founded. Oakshade Codex Guild, first branch. Guild perk unlocked. Shared destiny pages for all members. Level up. You are now level 15. New skill. Guild command. Issue party-wide buffs. The village square glowed with golden light as the first guild hall token appeared. A small crystal obelisk that would grow into a proper hall. But as the celebration peaked, a dark shadow crossed the sky. A black raven, eyes glowing red with false system runes, landed on the platform. It dropped a scroll at my feet. I picked it up. The codex scanned it instantly. Message from Lord Malachar. The anomaly known as the scribe will surrender by dawn or the village will burn. The architect's enforcers are already among you. Your true codex ends today. The raven cawed and flew off. Lyriel knocked an arrow. Brom gripped his hammer. The codex chimed a dire warning. Alert! Malachar's strike force has arrived early. Infiltrators detected in the village. Difficulty spike to A rank. New quest. Root out the traitors. I looked at my companions, the guild just born. Well, I said with a grin. Looks like page 6 is going to be a fight. The morning celebration died faster than a candle in a storm. The Black Raven's message still lay crumpled at my feet, its red-inked words burning into my memory. Lord Malachar's strike force wasn't coming in 36 hours anymore. They were already here. Infiltrators. Among us. In Oakshade. In the brand new guild we'd just founded. The villagers' cheers had turned to uneasy murmurs. Children clung to parents. Brom hefted his new legendary hammer, eyes scanning every face in the square. Lyriel's bow was already half drawn, arrow knocked, golden eyes narrowed at the crowd. I took a slow breath and activated Codex Scan at maximum radius. Area Scan. Oakshade Village. 47 life signs detected. Anomalous signatures. 3. False system corruption detected on 3 individuals. Identities masked by low-grade illusion runes. Threat level. Moderate. Infiltrators are waiting for a signal. 3 traitors. Hiding in plain sight. I raised my voice so the whole square could hear. Everyone stay calm. The Codex has found something. 3 people here are not what they seem. They're carrying Malachar's mark. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Eyes darted suspiciously. Lyriel stepped forward, voice low but carrying. Aiden, if we don't act fast, they'll sabotage the guild hall token before it fully manifests. That crystal obelisk is still vulnerable. The small glowing obelisk in the center of the square pulsed weakly, like a heartbeat trying to grow stronger. Brom growled. Then we root him out. Now. I nodded. Quest Weaver, Emergency Guild Quest, Shadows in the Guild Hall. Objective, identify and neutralize the 3 infiltrators without harming innocents. Rewards, Guild Hall fully manifested, massive destiny page, traitor loot, party level +5 each. Difficulty, A rank. Public broadcast, so everyone sees we're protecting them. The quest window bloomed for the entire village. Quest accepted by 44 villagers. 3 signatures refused. 3 people visibly flinched. The first was a middle-aged farmer near the back, hands trembling, sweat beading despite the cool morning air. The second, A young woman who'd been helping distribute bread, now backing slowly toward an alley. The third, an older man standing near the well, suddenly gripping a dagger under his cloak. They bolted at the same moment. "Stop them!" I shouted. Lyriel loosed 3 poison arrows in rapid succession, non-lethal tips she'd crafted earlier. One grazed the farmer's leg. He stumbled but kept running. The young woman dove behind a cart. The old man hurled a smoke bomb that exploded into choking black mist laced with red runes. False system smoke. Reduces visibility and applies minor dot. Counter. Light or wind-based dispel. I triggered page burst for the first time. Golden pages erupted from my cloak like a shockwave, tearing the smoke apart in a brilliant flash. The villagers shielded their eyes. The infiltrators screamed as the light burned their illusion runes away. Faces revealed. The farmer was no farmer. His features sharpened into a scarred, sneering man in partial black and gold armor. The woman's simple dress tore as false light tabard plates emerged beneath. The old man dropped the pretense entirely, revealing a hooded enforcer with glowing red eyes. Codex scan complete on all 3. False light infiltrator, level 14 each. Specialization, saboteur/assassin. Weakness, narrative disruption, overwhelming force, exposure to true codex energy. Brahm charged first, hammer swinging in a wide arc that cracked the ground. The scarred one parried with a red glowing short sword. Sparks flew as legendary met corrupted. Lyriel flanked, arrows raining. Valther's armor absorbed most, but poison began to seep through cracks. I focused on the hooded enforcer, the leader, judging by the mana radiating off him. He raised both hands. Red chains of corrupted system energy lashed toward me. I raised my cloak. Pages materialized into a shimmering shield. Codex shield activated, absorbing corrupted energy, converting to destiny fuel. The chains struck, and instead of hurting me, they dissolved into golden motes that flowed into my status bar. Corrupted energy purified. Plus 200 MP restored. Narrative overdrive triggered. The scribe who turned their chains against them. I grinned. Thanks for the mana donation. I spat an acid spit laced with basic fireball. Green flame orbed straight to his chest. He staggered. Brum finished him with a crushing overhead swing that sent the enforcer crashing through a market stall. Lyriel and the woman traded blows, bow versus dagger, until Lyriel disarmed her with a precise kick and pinned her with a knee to the back. The scarred one tried to flee again. I pointed and triggered Codex link on Brahm. Shared page, stone immersed judgment. Brahm's hammer glowed brighter. He hurled it like a thunderbolt. The weapon spun, trailing golden pages, and slammed into the fleeing infiltrator's back. Non-lethal, but enough to knock him unconscious. The square fell silent except for heavy breathing and the soft hum of the guild hall token. It flared suddenly, growing taller, wider, crystal turning to polished white stone etched with living golden script. A proper hall began to form. Arched doors, windows that glowed like pages turning, a banner unfurling above reading Oakshade Codex Guild, First Branch. Quest shadows in the guild hall complete. Guild hall fully manifested. Perks unlocked. Safe zone inside hall. Training grounds. Crafting stations. Recruitment board. Level up. You are now level 20. Lyriel level 21. Brahm level 20. New title. Unraveler of Lies. Regional Legend. Reward. 500 gold. Village treasury. Blacksmithing starter kit from Brahm. And 1 rare skill book. Page burst. Release stored destiny energy as an AoE attack. The villagers erupted in real cheers this time. Louder, fiercer. They knew we protected them from within. Lyriel walked over, breathing hard, a streak of blood on her cheek, not hers. She looked at the growing hall, then at me. Aiden, this place. It's more than a building. It's proof. The true codex can stand against them. I reached out, gently wiping the blood away with my thumb. Our eyes locked. The codex pinged again, soft, almost teasing. Shared page deepened. The quiet moment after the storm. Bonus, +5 permanent agility and wisdom when fighting side by side. She didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned in slightly, close enough that I could feel her breath. Thank you, she whispered, for believing the old stories could be real. Before I could answer, Brahm's voice boomed from the hall steps. Lad, elf, get in here. The first round of ale is on the guild, and we've got recruits lining up already. Lyriel smiled, small, genuine, and stepped back, but her hand brushed mine as she turned. The moment lingered like an unfinished sentence. Inside the hall, the air felt different, calm, powerful, like stepping into a library that could fight back. Villagers filed in, some shy, some eager. A young archer girl approached Lyriel. An apprentice smith begged Brahm for lessons. I stood at the center, watching it all. Then the codex chimed, louder, more urgent than before. Alert! Lord Malachar has personally acknowledged your existence. New overarching quest unlocked. Saga 1 Climax. The False Lord's Challenge. Objective: survive the coming assault on Oakshade. Defeat or repel Malachar's elite strike force. ETA: 12 hours. Reward: Saga 1 completion, massive level jump, access to Saga 2 Codex Guild Rising. Warning: Malachar himself may appear if the battle goes poorly. I looked at Lyriel and Brahm, now standing beside me like they'd always been there. 12 hours. A whole army of corrupted system users. And one little village that had just declared war on the old order. I cracked my knuckles. Page 7, I said quietly. Let's make it epic. 12 hours. That was all we had before Malachar's elite strike force descended on Oakshade like a storm of corrupted steel and red light. The village transformed in frantic, organized chaos. Villagers who'd never held more than a pitchfork now carried spears tipped with wolfbone from my earlier fights. Brahm's forge never stopped roaring, hammers pounding out crude but effective shields etched with the first basic runes I could teach through the codex. Lyriel trained archers on rooftops, her poison arrows now shared via guild command, so every shot carried a touch of her clan's venom. I stood at the newly manifested guild hall steps. The crystal obelisk, now a towering white stone structure with golden script crawling across its surface like living ink. Inside, the recruitment board glowed with names of new guild members. 32 villagers had officially joined, each gaining a tiny shared destiny page that boosted their stats by a flat +3 across the board. Guild perk active. Oakshade's Resolve. All members gain +10% damage and defense when defending home territory. The codex fed me constant updates. Enemy force composition scan complete, partial, distance interference. 80+ false light soldiers, levels 12 to 18. 4 elite enforcers, levels 22 to 25. 1 commander class unit, level 28. Sir Valthor the Unyielding. Siege constructs. 3 corrupted mana catapults. Malachar himself, not present yet. Signature 2 distant. I clench my fist. We hold the line. No one burns this village on my watch. Lyriel appeared at my side, quiver full, eyes fierce. The scouts say they're coming from the north road. Open fields, good for their catapults, bad for our cover. We need to draw them in close. Brahm stomped up, hammer slung over his shoulder. Then we make the fields hell. Lad, can your fancy pages do traps? I grinned. Watch this. Quest Weaver activated. Custom defense quest. Fields of Written Doom. Objective: seed the northern approach with codex traps using environmental synergy and party skills. Reward: pre-battle level boost, massive narrative overdrive, destiny page 7. Quest accepted. Difficulty: A+, creative environmental warfare detected. We moved fast. I walked the field with Lyriel and Brahm, pointing at patches of dirt, tall grass, the small stream that ran parallel to the road. At each spot, I triggered a mix of skills. Minor acid spit mixed with mana water from the earlier spring. Basic fireball infused into shallow pits, then covered with illusion pages from my cloak that made them look like normal ground. Codex traps created. Acid pits, X12, hidden, trigger on weight. Flame wells, X8, explode on proximity. Page snare, X5, immobilize target for 10 seconds, drain MP. Lyriel added her poison to the mix. Arrows dipped and buried tip-up in the grass. Brahm hammered stakes laced with wolfbone spikes. By the time the sun reached noon, the field looked innocent. But the codex knew better. Preparation complete. Pre-battle buff applied. Party +5 all stats for the next 6 hours. Then the horizon darkened. Black banners with red runes. Marching ranks. 3 hulking catapults pulled by chained shadow beasts. At the front, a towering knight in obsidian plate, Sir Valthor, his sword already glowing with corrupted destiny threads. The codex chimed. Enemy commander identified. Sir Valthor the Unyielding, level 28. Skills: Unbreakable Will, damage reduction. Corrupted Chain Lash, False Judgment Strike. Weakness: Overload with true narrative energy. Break his unyielding title by creating an undeniable story moment. The army stopped at the field's edge. Valthor raised his sword. By order of Lord Malachar, surrender the anomaly called the Scribe. Refuse, and Oakshade becomes ash. Silence from the village. Then Brahm's voice boomed back. Come take him, ye oversized tin can. The catapults fired first, glowing red boulders arcing toward the walls. I raised both hands. Page burst. Golden pages formed a dome shield, intercepting the first volley. The boulders shattered against it in showers of harmless sparks. The army charged. They hit the traps like dominoes. Acid pits swallowed frontline soldiers, screams as armor melted. Flame wells erupted, turning squads into torches. Page snares locked knights in place while Lyriel's archers picked them off. The codex drank it in. Narrative overdrive building. The day the fields fought back. Progress, 45%. Valthor roared and leaped forward, chains lashing from his gauntlets. He tore through my traps like paper, heading straight for the gate. Brom met him head-on. Hammer versus sword. Sparks flew. The ground cracked. Lyriel flanked, arrows raining. Valthor's armor absorbed most, but poison began to seep through cracks. I sprinted forward, cloak billowing. Codex link, full party share. All our pages merged into one glowing overlay. I slammed my palm against Valthor's chest plate as he swung at Brahm. Codex scan plus override attempt, forcing narrative disruption. Golden script crawled across his armor. His title flickered. The Unyielding, the one who faltered. He staggered. What is this? I poured everything into it. Page burst, full release. The stored destiny energy from every kill, every trap, every villager's hope detonated in a blinding wave. Valthor's armor cracked. Chains shattered. His sword dimmed. Critical narrative overdrive. Title broken. Enemy commander vulnerability exposed. Brahm's hammer connected. Once, twice, 3 times. The final blow sent Valthor crashing to his knees. The remaining soldiers faltered. Some fled. Others dropped weapons. Battle complete. Oakshade defended. Saga 1, survival complete. Massive level up. You are now level 35. Lyriel level 36. Brahm level 35. Guild members average level plus 10. Destiny page 7 written. The siege where destiny rewrote itself. Reward: plus 30 all stats. Permanent party-wide. New title: Breaker of False Lords, Continental Legend. Access to Saga 2, Codex Guild Rising. The field was littered with broken armor and fading red runes. Valthor, defeated but alive, looked up at me with something like awe. Your power, it's not a system. It's a story. I knelt beside him. Stories can change. Yours isn't over yet. Leave. Tell Malachar the True Codex is here, and it's growing. He nodded weakly and was helped away by his remaining men. The village erupted in the loudest cheers yet. Lyriel pulled me into a fierce hug, armor clanking, breath hot against my ear. We did it, she whispered. You did it. I held her close. The codex pinged softly. Shared page, victory's embrace. Bonus, romance arc officially unlocked. Slow burn progression increased. Brum laughed, slapping us both on the back. Enough o' that. Tonight we feast. Tomorrow we build. The guild grows. The world needs to know. As night fell, fires lit the square. Ale flowed. Songs rose, some old, some new, already weaving my name into legend. But in the quiet of the guild hall later, with Lyriel beside me watching the moons, the codex showed one final notification. Overarching thread update. The architect has taken notice. A fragment of his will stirs in the northern spires. Saga 2 begins. Expand the Codex Guild. Unite the scattered true remnants. Prepare for war across the continent. I looked at her. Ready for the next chapter? She smiled. Small, fierce, beautiful. With you? Always. The road to Eldenport grew busier with every mile. Farmers' carts laden with grain, merchant caravans guarded by mercenaries, lone wanderers with haunted eyes. all flowing toward the city like water to a drain. The air carried the faint salt of the eastern sea mixed with coal smoke and spices. By late afternoon, the horizon showed the first glimpse. Towering gray walls studded with watchtowers, banners of every color snapping in the wind, and the distant clamor of 1,000 voices. Eldenport wasn't just a city. It was the beating heart of the neutral territories, where false light enforcers walked carefully, where guilds warred in shadows instead of open fields, and where gold and secrets changed hands faster than blades. Our caravan slowed at the outer checkpoint. Guards in mismatched armor eyed us warily. 2 humans, 1 half-orc, all wearing the patchwork tabard of the city watch. "State your business." The half-orc grunted, spear tapping the ground. I stepped forward, cloak billowing slightly with residual page energy. "Oakshade Codex Guild. Here for trade, recruitment, and business with Silas the Fence." The guards exchanged glances. The name Silas carried weight, half respect, half fear. The human guard nodded slowly. "Entry fee, 50 gold per wagon. No trouble inside the walls, or you're out, permanently." Brahm grumbled, but paid from the guild treasury. We rolled through the massive gates into chaos. Streets narrow and twisting, buildings stacked 4 and 5 stories high with balconies overhanging like curious faces. Vendors shouted from every corner. Enchanted fruits, skill scrolls, legal and questionable. Potions glowing every color of mana. The smell was overwhelming. Roasted meat, incense, unwashed bodies, forged smoke, and the sharp tang of alchemical reagents. Lyriel inhaled deeply. "Home away from home. Silas's shop is in the Underborough, lower district. We'll need to lose the wagons here. Too conspicuous." We stabled the oxen and split the escorts, half to guard the supplies at a guild-approved inn, the other half to shadow us discreetly. The 3 of us moved deeper into the city. Alleys grew darker, lanterns fewer. Beggars watched with sharp eyes. Pickpockets melted away when they saw Brahm's hammer. Silas's shop was tucked behind a crooked apothecary, a plain wooden door marked only with a faint silver rune that shimmered when Lyriel touched it. The door clicked open. Inside, dim lamplight, shelves crammed with forbidden artifacts, dusty tomes, glowing crystals in locked cases. A thin half-elf man in dark robes looked up from a workbench, silver hair tied back, one eye covered by a patch embroidered with a tiny eye symbol. "Lyriel Night Whisper," Silas said, voice smooth as oil. "I heard your clan was dust. Yet here you stand, and with interesting company." Lyriel inclined her head. "Silas, the stories were exaggerated. This is Aiden Blackwood, the first true scribe, and Bromstonemer. Silas's good eye flicked to me." He tilted his head. "The anomaly Malakar's been cursing about. The one who broke Val Thor like kindling. Word travels fast in Eldenport." I smiled. "Good word or bad? Depends who's paying." Silas gestured to a table. "Sit. Tea. Or something stronger." We sat. He poured dark liquid that smelled of herbs and secrets. "I assume you're not here for trinkets," he said. "What do you want?" Lyriel leaned forward. "True Codex fragments. Any leads? And information on other arrivals. People from beyond this world." Silas sipped slowly. "Fragments are rare. Dangerous. The last one I handled vanished when a false light squad raided my old stall. As for arrivals," he glanced at me. "There are 3 confirmed in the city right now. One's a recluse in the Spire district, calls himself the Programmer. Another's a street fighter in the pits, goes by Jax. The third," he hesitated, "is causing problems. A woman. Powerful. Unstable. She's been asking about a system that writes itself. Bounty hunters are already circling." My pulse quickened. Codex ping. Companion marker update. Proximity high. Target, the Programmer. Potential, S rank. Isekai signature matches Earth origin. "The Programmer," I said. "Where?" Silas smiled thinly. "Top of the Ivory Spire. But he doesn't take visitors. You'll need a way in, and something he wants." Brahm cracked his knuckles. "We've got plenty o' that." Silas slid a small crystal across the table. "This is a cipher key. It'll get you past his outer wards. In return, I want first refusal on any true fragment you find. And a favor. Later." Lyriel frowned. "What favor?" "One day," Silas said softly, "Malakar will come for this city. When he does, I want the scribe on my side." Deal struck. We left the shop into twilight streets. As we walked toward the Spire District, tallest tower in Eldenport, white as bone, I felt the codex stir. New side quest generated, the programmer's door. Objective, gain audience with the recluse Isekai. Reward, potential new companion, system knowledge share, destiny page 9 fragment. Lyriel glanced at me. Another one like you. Think he'll help? Or see you as competition? I shrugged. Only one way to find out. We reached the base of the Ivory Spire. Guards in silver plates stood at the entrance. Private security, not city watch. I held up the cipher key. It glowed. The doors parted. Inside, marble halls, floating orbs of light, staircases spiraling upward endlessly. At the top floor, a single door, plain steel, etched with code-like runes. I knocked. A voice, calm, tired, unmistakably modern, came through the door. Who the hell knocks on my door at this hour? I grinned. Another guy who got hit by a truck. Name's Aiden. I've got a system that literally writes destiny, and I think we need to talk. Silence. Then the lock clicked. The door opened. A man in his 30s, hoodie, jeans, messy black hair, bags under sharp eyes, stood there, holding a tablet glowing with unfamiliar code. He stared at me, then at the golden pages faintly shimmering around my cloak. Holy shit, he muttered. You're real. Companion marker confirmed. The programmer, real name, Kairos Vale. Level, hidden. Potential, S+. New party invitation pending. The door swung wider, and Kairos Vale stepped aside without a word. His apartment, at the pinnacle of the Ivory Spire, was nothing like I expected from a fantasy world. Clean lines, floating holographic screens, actual holograms, not magic illusions. A desk cluttered with glowing tablets, half-disassembled mana crystals wired into makeshift circuits, and a wall covered in handwritten notes and flowcharts that looked ripped straight from a Silicon Valley whiteboard. No swords, no armor, just code, coffee stains, and the faint hum of overclocked mana processors. Kairos closed the door behind us. His eyes flicked between me, Lyriel, and Brahm like he was debugging a particularly nasty crash. You're really here, he said finally, voice flat but edged with something raw. Not a hallucination. Not another system glitch. Another truck victim with a broken reality engine. I nodded slowly. Seattle. VR playtest. Semi-truck. You. San Francisco. Late-night debug session. Hit by a delivery van while crossing the street with headphones in. Classic. He rubbed his temples. Woke up here 3 years ago. System called Architect's Blueprint. It lets me rewrite local physics, but only within strict parameters. Like coding in a sandbox with admin privileges revoked halfway through. He gestured to a cluster of chairs that looked suspiciously modern, probably conjured from memory. We sat. Brummed the furniture like it might bite. Lyriel stayed standing, bow still slung across her back, hand near her quiver. You're wary. Good. We're not here to fight. But we need to know if you're an ally or another problem. Kairos snorted. I'm a problem for anyone who tries to drag me into guild wars. I stay up here because down there everyone wants to use me. False Light wants my code to patch their system. Rebels want me to hack it. I just want to understand why this world runs on lies. I leaned forward. My system's called Infinite Codex. It doesn't patch reality. It narrates it. Every major moment writes a permanent page. The more dramatic, the bigger the reward. Destiny pages. Quest Weaver. Narrative overdrive. It's turning my life into literal power. Kairos stared. Then he laughed, short, bitter. That's elegant. Brutally unfair, but elegant. My blueprint is brute force. I can rewrite gravity in a 10-meter radius, make fire cold, turn steel to glass. But it costs exponentially more the further I push from approved rules. And every time I do something big, the architect notices. Pain feedback. Like the world itself is punishing me for cheating. He tapped a tablet. A holographic window appeared, lines of glowing code scrolling endlessly. Show me yours, he said. If you're real, prove it. I activated my status screen, not the private one, but the visible overlay. Golden text floated between us. Infinite Codex system, status display, public view. Level, 38. Title, Breaker of False Lords, Continental Legend. Current Destiny pages, 8. Infinity Potential. Active skills, Codex Scan, Max, Quest Weaver, Page Burst, Wormscale Infusion, etc. Kairos's eyes widened. He reached out. His fingers passed through the text like it was smoke. It's not rendered. It's woven into perception itself. Narrative layer on top of physics. He whispered, almost reverent. This is what I've been missing. My system is bottom-up, atoms and equations. Yours is top-down, story and meaning. Lyriel crossed her arms. Can the two work together? Kairos hesitated. Then he pulled up his own interface, blueprint schematics, wireframe reality grids. Let's test it. He stood, gestured. The room's gravity inverted for a heartbeat. Chairs lifted, coffee mugs floated. Then he let it snap back. Your turn, he said to me. Try to narrate something impossible under my rules. I focused on one of the floating mugs. Quest Weaver, minor side quest. The mug that defies gravity permanently. Reward, small destiny fragment. The codex chimed. Quest accepted. Narrative cost, low. Overdrive potential, medium. I pointed. Golden script wrapped the mug like ribbon. It didn't fall when gravity returned. It hovered, spinning slowly, defying physics without mana drain. Kairos's jaw dropped. That shouldn't be possible. I locked gravity here. But your story overwrote my lock. He reached out again. This time his code interfaced, blue lines touching gold. A spark jumped. Both systems reacted. Codex notification, foreign system compatibility detected. Temporary synergy unlocked. Hybrid page, code and codex. First union. Effect. For the next 24 hours, narrative actions cost 50% less MP when combined with blueprint calculations. Blueprint rewrites gain permanent persistence if anchored to a destiny page. Kairos staggered back. Holy, did your system just patch itself onto mine? I grinned. Looks like it. Welcome to the party. Brom chuckled. Lads, if ye two keep glowing like that, we're gonna blind the city. But the moment shattered. A sharp alarm blared from Kairos's wards. He spun to a screen. Bounty hunters. 3 teams converging on the spire. They must have tracked you here. Word of the scribe's arrival spread faster than I thought. Lyriel drew her bow in one fluid motion. How many? 15. Levels 20 to 30. Mixed gear, false light mercs, and independents. They want you alive for Malakar's bounty. I stood. Then we give them a story they won't forget. Kairos hesitated, then nodded. First time in 3 years, I'm leaving this tower voluntarily. Let's see what happens when code meets narrative in the field. He grabbed a sleek staff that unfolded into a holographic keyboard. I'll cover support. You lead. We burst out of the apartment, wards flaring as we descended the spiral stairs at a run. Halfway down, the first hunters appeared. Black-clad figures rappelling from upper balconies, blades drawn, red runes glowing. Lyriel loosed arrows. Brom charged. I blinked forward with cloak teleport. Kairos typed furiously, reality rippled. One hunter's sword turned to rubber mid-swing. Another's boots glued to the wall. I triggered page burst. Golden wave knocking 3 off their feet. Hybrid synergy active. Narrative overdrive boosted 200%. The fight spilled into the spire's grand atrium. Marble floors cracking under Brom's hammer. Arrows pinning arms to walls. Kairos rewriting gravity pockets to fling enemies into ceilings. One hunter, a burly orc with a massive axe, bellowed, "The scribe dies tonight." I met his charge head-on. Codex scan plus blueprint anchor. Kairos's code locked the orc's momentum. My pages rewrote his intent. The axe froze midair. The orc blinked in confusion. Then I spat a charged acid spit, now laced with hybrid energy. It hit like napalm. He dropped. The rest broke and fled. Combat complete. Bounty hunter teams repelled. Destiny page 9 fragment complete. The tower where 2 systems became one. Reward, permanent synergy buff, hybrid pages now available. Kairos Vale joins party as companion. Level sync applied. Kairos level 38. Kairos leaned against a pillar, breathing hard, staring at his staff like it was new. I haven't fought in years. Felt good. Lyriel sheathed her bow, a small smile on her lips. You're not bad for a recluse. He looked at me. We're not done. There's another arrival in the pits, Jax. And that unstable woman Silas mentioned. If we're building something real, we need more than 2 Isekai freaks. I nodded. Then we head to the pits next. Recruit who we can. Avoid who we can't. As we descended the last stairs into the night streets of Eldenport, the Codex chimed one last time. Warning, The unstable arrival has taken notice of the spire battle. Signature closing fast. Threat level, extreme. Somewhere in the dark, a woman's laughter echoed, cold, unhinged, and hungry. The night streets of Eldenport swallowed us like a living thing. Narrow alleys twisting downward, lanterns flickering with stolen mana, the distant roar of crowds growing louder with every step. The fighting pits were buried deep in the underburrow, beneath what used to be an old coliseum now converted into a labyrinth of blood and bets. Kairos walked beside me, staff folded into a compact rod at his belt, eyes scanning every shadow like he expected code errors to manifest as knives. Lyriel flanked my left, bow half-drawn, poison tips glinting. Brom brought up the rear, hammer resting on his shoulder, grinning like a dwarf at a forge sale. The pits aren't just fights, Kairos muttered. They're information markets. Every punch thrown, every bet placed, feeds rumors. If Jax is down there, and if he's as good as Silas said, he'll be the center of it all. We descended a final set of worn stone stairs into humid air thick with sweat, iron, and cheering. The arena opened before us. A massive circular pit ringed by tiered seating carved into the rock. Torches burned with unnatural blue flame. Spectators, mercs, nobles in disguise, street rats, roared as two fighters clashed in the sand below. One was a hulking trollkin swinging a club the size of a tree trunk. The other, Jax. He was human, mid-20s, scarred, shirtless, muscles corded like steel cables under dark skin. No weapons, just fists wrapped in crude bandages that glowed faintly with system energy. Every punch he landed cracked bone and sent shockwaves rippling through the air. Codex scan, Jax, Iron Fist, Harlan, level 42, hidden class, Brawler Sovereign. Isekai signature, confirmed. Origin, Earth. System, Fist of the Void, pure physical amplification, momentum manipulation, no mana cost. Potential companion rating, S. Personality, aggressive, loyal once earned, hates authority. The trollkin swung. Jax ducked, countered with an uppercut that lifted the beast off its feet and slammed it into the pit wall. Cracks spiderwebbed outward. The crowd lost its mind. Winner, Jax Iron Fist, the announcer bellowed. Jax didn't celebrate. He just wiped blood from his lip and scanned the stands, eyes locking on us almost instantly. He jerked his head toward a side tunnel. Message received. We pushed through the throng to meet him in a dim antechamber off the main pit. Jax leaned against the wall, breathing steady despite the fight, towel around his neck. You're the scribe, he said, voice low and rough. Words spreading faster than plague. Broke a commander, built a guild in a day. Now you've got a coder trailing you like a lost puppy. Kairos raised an eyebrow. I prefer systems architect. Jax snorted. Whatever. You here to recruit? Or just sightseeing? I stepped forward. Both. We're building something bigger than guilds or pits. A counter to the architect system. Real power, not borrowed lies. You're from Earth. You know what real freedom feels like. Help us. Jax studied me for a long moment. Then he laughed, short, harsh. Freedom? I've been punching my way through this hell for 2 years. My system gives me strength, but it's empty. No quests. No levels that mean anything. Just fists and survival. He flexed his hand. The air around it rippled like heat haze. I fight because it's the only thing that feels real. You offering more than that. Before I could answer, the Codex screamed a warning. Alert. Extreme threat detected. Signature match. Unstable arrival. Closing at high speed. Name. Seraphine Voss, self-proclaimed. Level, 45+. System, fractured throne. Reality warping via emotional instability. Danger, catastrophic. The ground trembled. From the tunnel entrance, a woman emerged. Tall, pale, silver hair wild and streaked with black, eyes glowing violet with fractured light. She wore tattered noble robes that shifted colors like oil on water. In her hand, a jagged crown of thorns that bled shadow. She smiled, beautiful, broken. The scribe, she purred, and his little collection of strays. I felt your story blooming in the spire. So bright, so delicious. Jax tensed. Brom raised his hammer. Lyriel knocked an arrow. Kairos' staff unfolded into full holographic array. Seraphine tilted her head. I was a queen once. In my world. Betrayed. Executed. Truck didn't even get me. Guillotine did. Woke here with a throne that only exists when I'm angry. Or sad. Or anything at all. She laughed. Hi, Jagged. Now I want yours, scribe. Your pages. Your destiny. Give them to me. Or I'll take them. The air warped around her. Reality cracked like glass. Gravity flipped in pockets. Torches inverted into black flames. The stone floor rippled like water. She raised the crown. Fracture. A wave of violet energy exploded outward. I reacted on instinct. Page burst. Full defensive. Golden pages formed a dome shield. It held, but cracks appeared instantly. Kairos typed furiously. Blueprint anchor. Stabilize local physics. Blue code grid snapped into place, reinforcing my pages. Hybrid synergy flared. The wave crashed against our combined barrier and shattered harmlessly. Seraphine's smile faltered. Two systems together? Jack stepped forward, cracking his knuckles. Lady, you picked the wrong night. He charged. Seraphine laughed and met him, her crown morphing into a blade of shadow. Fists met void steel. Shockwaves cracked the walls. Brahm joined the fray, hammer clashing against her defenses. Lyriel's arrows flew, poison-tipped, seeking gaps. I scanned her mid-fight. Weakness, emotional anchors. Overload her instability with undeniable narrative truth. Quest Weaver, emergency. The queen who forgot her crown. Objective, anchor Seraphine's emotions to a shared destiny page. Force stability through story. Quest accepted. Difficulty, S rank. Narrative cost, extreme. I shouted over the chaos. Seraphine, you were a queen. Betrayed. But you survived. That's your real power, not this fractured throne. She faltered for a split second. I poured destiny energy into the words. Pages materialized around her, golden script rewriting her pain into strength. You don't need to steal destinies. You can write your own. Join us. Or keep breaking. Your choice. The crown trembled in her hand. Violet light flickered, then dimmed. She dropped to one knee, breathing hard. I can't. It hurts too much to stop. Jax lowered his fists. Then let it hurt. Pain's honest. Lies aren't. Kairos stepped closer. We can help stabilize it. Code and story together. Seraphine looked up. Eyes clearer, less fractured. The codex chimed. Quest complete. Destiny page 10 written. The fractured queen finds her first true page. Reward. Seraphine Voss temporary alliance. Emotional stability buff applied. Potential companion upgrade pending trust. Party synergy expanded. Fractured throne now compatible with hybrid pages. She stood slowly. Not joining yet, she whispered. But I won't kill you tonight. She vanished in a swirl of violet mist, leaving only the cracked crown on the ground. Jax picked it up, handed it to me. Guess that's progress. I nodded. One step. The codex pinged softly. New companion option unlocked. Jack's Iron Fist. Invitation pending. Seraphine Voss. Watch status. Future recruitment, high probability. We stood in the ruined antechamber, breathing hard. Eldenport's pits had just witnessed the birth of something new. And the architect was definitely watching now. The morning after the siege felt like waking from a dream that had nearly killed us all. Oakshade still smelled of smoke and victory. Charred patches in the northern fields were already being turned under by farmers, the red runes long faded. The guild hall stood proud in the square, its white stone walls now etched with more golden script as new members contributed small stories to the codex. A child's drawing of the battle, a blacksmith's memory of Brahm's hammer swing, Lyriel's quiet recounting of the moment she first felt hope again. I stood on the hall's balcony overlooking it all, the two moons long set, the sun rising gold and forgiving. Guild status update, 47 members. Reputation, local hero regional hope. Safe zone radius expanded to cover entire village. Lyriel joined me, leaning on the railing. Her new quiver shimmered faintly, arrows already regenerating inside it. The scouts returned at dawn, she said quietly. Malakar's forces are regrouping farther north. He's not sending another wave yet. He's watching, waiting to see what we do next. Brahm stomped up the stairs behind us, carrying 3 steaming mugs of something that smelled suspiciously like dwarven stout mixed with coffee. Watchin' is fine, he grunted, handing us each a mug. Let 'em watch. We've got pages to fill and a guild to grow. What's the plan, scribe? I took a sip, strong, bitter, perfect, and opened the codex interface. Saga 2, Codex Guild Rising. Main quest chain unlocked. Objective 1. Establish contact with other true remnants. First target. The free city of Eldenport, 180 kilometers east. Rumored hub for outcasts, rogue system users, and whispers of other Isekai souls. Secondary. Recruit at least 3 new high potential companions. Expand guild influence beyond Oakshade. Reward, level plus 10, party-wide. Guild expansion token, Destiny page 8. Access to continental map overlay. Eldenport, I said. Biggest neutral city on this continent. Trade hub, black market for skills and artifacts. And, if the rumors are true, a place where people like me aren't burned at the stake on sight. Lyriel's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. My clan had contacts there before the purge. A half-elf fence named Silas who dealt in forbidden relics. If anyone knows about other True Codex fragments, it's him. Brum drained his mug in one go. An ale. Good ale. I'm in. I nodded. Then we move out at midday. Take a small caravan, supplies, a few guild members for escort, and us 3. Leave the hall guarded by the veterans. This is our first real expansion step. Preparations were swift. Villagers donated food, blankets, spare weapons. I used the crafting stations inside the hall to upgrade our gear further. Infusing Lyriel's bow with a permanent light rune, anti-illusion. Brom's hammer with a shockwave pulse on crits, and my cloak with a short-range teleport blink, 5-second cooldown, MP heavy. By noon we rolled out. 3 sturdy wagons pulled by sturdy oxen, 20 guild escorts, levels 8 to 15, and our core trio at the front. The road east was wide, well-traveled, bordered by rolling hills and patches of ancient forest. The Codex map overlay appeared in my vision, golden lines tracing paths, red dots for known false light outposts. For the first few hours it was peaceful. Birds sang. The wagons creaked. Brum told filthy dwarf jokes that made Lyriel roll her eyes and the escorts laugh nervously. Then the ambush came. Not from soldiers. From monsters. A pack of level 22 iron-scale wormlings burst from the tree-line. 6 of them, serpentine bodies armored in metallic plates, wings clipped for ground speed, venom dripping from fangs the length of daggers. Codex scan. Iron-scale wormling, pack hunters. Weakness, joints in armor, sonic disruption, overwhelming single-target focus. They charged the caravan. Defensive circle. I shouted. Protect the wagons. Brom roared and slammed his hammer down. Shockwave pulse rippling outward, staggering the lead wormling. Lyriel vanished into silent step, reappearing on a wagon roof and unleashing a volley of poison arrows. One wormling shrieked as venom ate into its eye socket. I blinked forward with the new cloak ability, landing beside the largest one. Acid spit plus fireball combo, green flame exploding against its neck joint. It reared back in pain, but they were fast. One slammed into a wagon, splintering wood. Escorts screamed as claws raked shields. I needed something bigger. Quest Weaver, Emergency Combat Quest, Wormling Reckoning. Objective, defeat the pack using creative synergy. Reward, massive narrative overdrive, rare loot drop, Destiny page fragment. Quest accepted. Difficulty, a rank. I shouted to the party. Link pages, full sync. The shared overlay flared. Brom's hammer glowed. Lyriel's arrows shimmered. My cloak billowed with pages. I pointed at the ground beneath the wormlings and triggered every trap skill I had left. Acid pits opened. Flame wells erupted. Page snares locked legs. The pack faltered. Then I went all in. Page burst, focused. Golden energy surged from me into Brom's hammer. He swung once. Massive overhead smash empowered by the entire party's destiny. The shockwave hit like a bomb. Plates shattered. Wormlings flew. The alpha crashed into a tree, spine broken. The rest scattered or died under arrows and blades. Combat complete. Quest complete. Level up. You are now level 38. Lyriel level 39. Brom level 38. Destiny page 8 fragment acquired. The road where monsters learned fear. Reward. New skill. Worm scale infusion. Armor upgrade passive. Rare drop. Iron scale core. Crafting material for flight-capable gear later. The escorts cheered, wounded but alive. We patched wagons and healed with guild potions. Lyriel approached, wiping blood from her cheek. You keep pulling miracles out of thin air. I shrugged, still catching my breath. Not miracles. Stories. And we're writing a good one. She looked at me a long moment, then leaned in and kissed my cheek. Quick, soft, but deliberate. For luck, she murmured. On the rest of the road. My face heated. Brahm's guffaw echoed from behind. Oi, save it for Eldenport. We've got miles yet. The caravan moved on. As evening fell, the codex pinged again. New companion marker detected, 45 kilometers ahead. High potential. Isekai signature confirmed. Another person from Earth? Here? Lyriel caught my expression. What is it? I smiled slowly. Looks like we're not the only ones who got trucked into this world. The road north from Eldenport was a scar across the landscape, paved with cracked stone that had once been white marble, now stained black by false light patrols and the residue of old battles. The air grew colder with every mile, carrying the metallic tang of suppressed mana and distant thunder that never quite broke. Our expanded party moved in a tight formation, wagons reinforced with Kairos's code grids and my page wards, escorts from the new Eldenport branch trailing at a cautious distance. Jax walked point, fists loose but ready. Lyriel scouted ahead with silent step. Brahm drove the lead wagon, humming old dwarf marching songs. Kairos rode beside me, tablet in hand, constantly tweaking our stealth overlay. Seraphine had not appeared again, but I felt her violet presence like a shadow on the horizon, watching, weighing. The codex map showed our target, the northern spires. A jagged range of obsidian towers rising from a frozen plain, Malakar's outer fortress. The sealed fragment was buried in the deepest dungeon beneath the central spire, guarded by constructs, elite enforcers, and something the system flagged as Architect Echo. We camped the first night in a sheltered ravine. No fire. Kairos's thermal illusions kept us warm without light. Around the low circle of wards, conversation turned quiet. Jax broke the silence first. This architect, what do we actually know? Not rumors. Facts. Kairos answered without looking up from his screen. From my scans and the fragments we've touched, it's not a god. Not in the traditional sense. It's a system kernel. The root code that bootstrapped every system in this world. False light is its patch branch. Rigid, balanced, controlled. Our systems, mine, yours, Jax's, even Seraphine's, are anomalies. Glitches it didn't anticipate. Every time we override its rules, it feels pain. Or rage. Or curiosity. Hard to tell. Lyriel stared into the dark. My clan called it the Weaver of Chains. Said it feared stories because stories can't be chained. Brahm grunted. Then let's give it a tale it can't forget. I felt the codex stir, soft, almost hesitant. Warning. Proximity to Architect Echo increasing. Direct interface attempt detected. The air rippled. A voice, not through ears, but directly in the soul, whispered. Scribe. It was calm, genderless, ancient. The same voice that had welcomed me in the void after the truck. You collect fragments like a child gathers broken toys. Do you understand what you assemble? I stood. The others tensed, feeling it too. I understand enough, I said aloud. You built a world of control. We're building one of choice. A low chuckle, cold as vacuum. Choice is illusion when the code runs deeper than flesh. The fragments you seek will not free you. They will complete the loop. Return them to me, and I will grant mercy. Your companions may live as echoes in my balanced realm. Refuse, and I will unwrite you all. The presence withdrew. Silence fell heavier than before. Jack spat. Big talk from a disembodied admin. Kairos's hands shook slightly on his tablet. It spoke directly. No relay. That means we're close enough for it to bypass local filters. We're not just raiding a dungeon. We're knocking on its back door. Lyriel touched my arm. We can turn back. Find another fragment. I met her eyes. No. If we run now, it knows we're afraid. And fear writes weak pages. We pressed on at first light. The spires rose like broken teeth against a steel-gray sky. Black snow fell, ash mixed with ice. Patrols of level 40+ enforcers roamed the outer paths, but our combined stealth, pages plus code plus Jax's momentum cloaking, slipped us past. The central spire loomed tallest. A single arched entrance led down into darkness. We descended. The dungeon was a spiral of obsidian corridors lit by pulsing red veins in the walls. Traps everywhere, null fields, chain lashes, illusion duplicates. We cleared them methodically. Kairos rewriting triggers, Jax smashing constructs, Lyriel picking off distant sentries, from tanking the heavy hits, me anchoring everything with destiny pages. Deeper. The air thickened. The codex screamed warnings. Architect Echo detected level. Entity, Fragment Guardian Eidolon 0. The final chamber opened, a vast circular room with a black altar at the center. On it, the sealed fragment, a cracked crystal page suspended in chains of red code. Before it stood Eidolon 0, a towering figure of shifting shadow and light. Humanoid, but edges blurred like bad rendering. Its face was a void mirror, reflecting distorted versions of us back at ourselves. You came, it said in the architect's voice. Predictable. It raised a hand. The chamber warped, gravity inverted, walls became floors, time stuttered. We fought. Jax charged, fists blurring. Eidolon caught one punch, twisted momentum back at him. Jax flew into a wall. Braum roared, hammer empowered by shared pages, shockwave clashing against null waves. Lyriel's arrows, poison laced with rebellion echo, pierced shadow, drawing violet sparks. Kairos typed frantically, blue grids trying to lock the entity's form. I focused on the altar. Quest Weaver, ultimate, the fragment that chooses freedom. Objective, break the seal with narrative truth. Reward, full fragment integration. Architect Echo weakened. The quest accepted, no difficulty rating. Just acceptance. I ran forward, cloak billowing. Eidolon turned its mirror face to me. You cannot rewrite the root. I slammed my palm against the crystal page. Pages exploded, gold against red. The chains cracked. Memories flooded. Not mine, but the world's. The first Isekai. The first anomaly. The architect sealing them away. Building walls of balance. I whispered to the fragment. You were never meant to be chained. Be free. The crystal shattered. Light, pure, blinding, flooded the chamber. Eidolon screamed, a digital howl. Fragment acquired. The first rebellion full. Integration complete. Level up. You are now level 55. Party-wide, plus 10 levels each. New skill. Architect's Echo, passive, sense system manipulations continent-wide. New title, Defier of the Root, mythic. Eidolon 0 flickered, weakened, retreating into shadow. This is not the end. Only a delay. It vanished. The chamber stabilized. We stood amid broken chains and fading red code. The fragment's power settled. Deeper wisdom, sharper senses, a quiet certainty that the architect could bleed. Jax helped Braum up. Lyriel sheathed her bow, breathing hard. Kairos stared at the empty altar. We heard it. Actually heard it. I looked at them, all of them. Then let's keep hurting it. Outside the spire, as we emerged into black snow, violet mist coalesced. Seraphine stepped forward, crown reformed, but thorns softer, less jagged. She met my eyes. I felt it break, she said quietly. The chain. I want more. I extended a hand. Join us. Write your own ending. She hesitated, then took it. Companion invitation accepted. Seraphine Voss joins the party. Level sync applied. Seraphine, level 55. New shared page. The queen who chose the pen. Bonus. Party-wide emotional resilience, plus 20%. Fractured throne stabilized. The 6 of us stood under the spires. 2 humans from Earth, a half-elf, a dwarf, a coder, a fractured queen. The codex chimed, clear, victorious, but with a new edge. Saga 2 climax approaching. Next target, Malakar's inner sanctum. The false lord falls soon. But beneath it, a whisper only I heard. Well played, scribe. But the root runs deeper than you know. The approach to Malakar's inner sanctum felt like walking into the throat of a sleeping beast. The northern spires gave way to a vast frozen plateau ringed by black iron walls 50 meters high. Towers rose like needles, each crowned with red glowing runes that pulsed in rhythm with distant thunder. The sky above was a perpetual storm, clouds churning, lightning never quite striking. The air tasted of ozone and despair. Our party, now 6 strong, moved under maximum stealth. Kairos's code grids bending light. My page illusions cloaking us as a harmless supply caravan. Jax's momentum suppression muffling footsteps. Lyriel's silent steps scouting every shadow. Brahms' hammer wrapped in silence wards, Seraphine's fractured mist diffusing our emotional signatures so the architect's passive scans read us as background noise. We had one shot. The Codex map showed the Sanctum Core, a colossal obsidian pyramid at the plateau's heart. Malachar waited there, level 70 plus, surrounded by his elite guard, the false Codex Nexus, a corrupted central server feeding power to every false light system on the continent, and the final sealed fragment we needed to complete the rebellion chain. We breached the outer wall at a forgotten maintenance gate. Kairos rewrote the lock runes in seconds. Inside, endless corridors of polished black stone, patrolled by silent automatons and hooded enforcers who moved like ghosts. We cleared them methodically, Jax and Brum drawing aggro in side halls, Lyriel picking off stragglers, Seraphine fracturing illusions and mind links, Kairos disabling security grids, me anchoring everything with rebellion echo bursts to counter suppression fields. Deeper, the pyramid's heart chamber opened without warning, a vast dome lit by crimson veins. At the center, Malachar. He stood on a raised dais, tall, cloaked in flowing black and gold, face hidden behind a featureless helm etched with endless runes. In his hand, a staff topped with a corrupted crystal that mirrored the one we just freed. Around him, 20 elite guards, level 55 plus, the Nexus, a floating orb of red code the size of a house, and faint violet mist curling at the edges of the room. Seraphine stiffened. Malachar's voice echoed, calm, resonant, amplified by the chamber. The scribe, the programmer, the brawler, the fractured queen, the elf, the dwarf. You bring quite the menagerie to my doorstep. He raised the staff. You have collected fragments. You have hurt the root, but you are still children playing with matches in a library of code. The Nexus pulsed. Suppression waves rolled outward, stronger than the silencers, continent-wide calibrated. My codex flickered. Kairos's grid stuttered. Jax's fist slowed. Seraphine's crown trembled. Malachar smiled beneath the helm. Witness true balance. He pointed. Red chains lashed from the Nexus, targeting each of us. I ward. Rebellion echo. Full party. Golden lines snapped into place, connecting us all. The chains hit the network and shattered. Malachar staggered. First time we'd seen surprise in him. Now, I shouted. The battle erupted. Jax charged, fists empowered by shared pages, momentum rewriting physics to close the gap in a blink. Brum followed, hammer shockwaves cracking the dais. Lyriel vanished, arrows raining from impossible angles. Seraphine unleashed fractured throne, violet rifts tearing at the chains, turning Malachar's own suppression against him. Kairos typed at blinding speed, blue code grids wrapping the Nexus, trying to isolate it. I went straight for Malachar. He met me with the staff, red energy clashing against my cloak's pages. You think stories win wars? He snarled. I think stories win worlds, I answered. Page burst, full release. Golden explosion filled the chamber. The Nexus cracked. Malachar roared, staff swinging. I dodged, countered with acid spit plus fireball plus rebellion echo, blazing comet to his chest. Armor shattered. Helm cracked, revealing a face that was ordinary. Human. Tired. Eyes burning with fanaticism. You cannot unmake the architect, he gasped. No, I said. But we can unmake you. The party converged. Jax's final uppercut lifted Malachar off the ground. Brahms' hammer crushed the staff. Seraphine's violet rift swallowed the broken helm. Kairos's code severed the Nexus link. Lyriel's arrow, tipped with the last of her clan's venom, pierced his heart. Malachar fell. The Nexus exploded in harmless sparks. Silence. Then the Codex sang. Saga 2, Codex Guild Rising, complete. Lord Malachar defeated. False Light Continental Network disrupted 70%. Massive level up. You are now level 70. Party-wide, plus 15 levels each. All companions level 70. Destiny page 12 written. The false lord falls. The true scribe rises. Reward. Permanent plus 50 all stats. Party-wide. New title. Slayer of False Lords. Legendary Mythic. Guild expansion unlocked. Continental Network. True Codex fragment final integration. The balance broken. New skill. Reality rewrite. Limited. Once per saga. Overwrite one major world law with narrative consent. The chamber trembled. red veins fading, obsidian lightning to gray. We stood amid the ruins. Jax exhaled. That's one down. Brom laughed, deep, triumphant. Aye, but the big bastard's still out there. Kairos stared at the dying nexus. We cut the branch. The root knows we're coming. Lyriel placed a hand on my shoulder. We're ready. Seraphine, crown now fully reformed, thorns golden instead of black, smiled faintly. For the first time, I believe that. The Codex chimed, clear, victorious, but with a new edge. Saga 3, Multiversal Codex, unlocked. Objective, portal network activation. Seek other worlds, Isekai survivors. Hunt architect fragments across realities. Prepare for the final rewrite. First lead, the rift gate in the shattered continent of Etheria. Multi-world convergence point. Danger, extreme. Allies unknown. I looked at my companions, 6 broken souls who had become something unbreakable. Then we go through the rift. Outside, the storm broke, lightning striking clean for the first time, thunder rolling like applause. The false lord was dead. The true story was just beginning. The plateau outside Malakar's fallen sanctum was eerily quiet in the aftermath. The black iron walls had begun to crumble, cracks spreading like veins of light through obsidian, as if the continent itself exhaled in relief. Red runes flickered and died one by one. The storm overhead had broken into clear, cold stars. We stood at the edge of a newly revealed crater in the center of the plateau, a perfect circle of polished black glass, 30 meters across. At its heart hovered the rift gate, a vertical ring of fractured crystal, edges bleeding soft multicolored light. The Codex had marked it the moment Malakar fell. Primary objective, Saga 3, Multiversal Codex. Rift gate activated. Destination, Etheria, shattered continent, nexus of broken worlds. Convergence point for Isekai survivors across realities. Warning, dimensional instability. Multiple system signatures detected. Hostile entities probable. Jax stared at the gate, fists clenched. So we just walk through? No save point, no loading screen. Kairos adjusted his tablet, holographic scans dancing across the ring. It's stable enough. But once we cross, physics might shift. Gravity, time dilation, mana density, everything could be different. My blueprint will try to adapt, but your codex might have to narrate the transition. Lyriel touched the crystal edge, her fingers passing through without resistance. It feels alive, like it's waiting for a story to finish. Seraphine, crowned now a delicate circlet of golden thorns, smiled thinly. It's hungry. For change. For chaos. I know the feeling. Brom hefted his hammer. Enough poetry. We've got pages to write. Let's go see what's on the other side. I nodded. Party link, full sync. Whatever happens, we stay together. Golden lines connected us, shared pages glowing brighter than ever. We stepped forward as one. The transition wasn't a step. It was a fall. Reality folded. Colors inverted, sounds stretched into impossible frequencies, gravity flipped inside out. For a heartbeat, I felt every death I'd never had. Every truck, every blade, every betrayal across infinite worlds. Then the Codex asserted itself. Page 13 wrote itself mid-fall. The crossing, when 6 became travelers of worlds. Golden script wrapped us like armor. The fall stabilized. We landed, not on ground, but on floating obsidian platforms drifting in a violet void. Etheria. Shattered continents floated in an endless purple sky, jagged islands of stone, crystal forests, ruined cities suspended by chains of light. Distant rifts tore open and closed like breathing wounds. Gravity was optional. Some platforms had it, others didn't. Air tasted of ozone and forgotten memories. Environmental scan. Etheria, multiversal nexus. Local physics, narrative priority. Systems from 17+ realities converge here. Current stability, 42%. We weren't alone. Figures waited on the largest central platform. A floating coliseum of white marble cracked down the middle. 3 people. The first, a tall woman in sleek black armor that shifted like liquid metal, dual energy blades humming at her sides. Her eyes glowed faint cyan. The second, a short, wiry man in a trench coat covered in glowing circuit tattoos, holding a revolver that looked half gun, half circuit board. The third, a child, no older than 12, sitting cross-legged, surrounded by floating orbs of pure light. Their face was obscured by a hood, but the voice was ancient. The woman spoke first. New arrivals. From Verdantia. The Codex signature is unmistakable. She tilted her head. You killed Malachar. Impressive. Stupid, but impressive. I stepped forward. We're looking for allies. And fragments. The architects collecting them across worlds. We're stopping it. The man with the revolver laughed. Stopping the root code? Bold. We've been trying for decades in subjective time. Names Reyes. System, quantum revolver, shoots possibilities. This is Mira, liquid edge, blade singularity user. And the kid, we call them Oracle. They see timelines. Oracle's voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. You are late. The architect already has 3 fragments from Etheria. One more, and it can initiate full convergence. Merge all realities into one controlled simulation. Mira crossed her arms. We guard the last local fragment. Hidden in the heart spire, the floating ruin at the center. But the architect's agents are closing in. Void-born, creatures born from rift instability. Level 80 plus. They don't die easy. Jax cracked his knuckles. Sounds like fun. Reyesite us. You want the fragment? Earn it. Help us defend the heart spire. One wave of Void-born is inbound. If we hold, the fragment is yours. If we fall, everything falls. Kairos scanned the horizon. Multiple signatures. At least 30. Converging fast. Seraphine's crown flared. Then let's give them a story they can't forget. I looked at my companions, then at the 3 strangers who might become allies. Quest Weaver, Cross-Reality Alliance Quest, Defense of the Heartspire. Objective, hold the line against the Void-born wave. Protect the final Etherian fragment. Rewards, fragment integration, multiversal reputation, new hybrid synergies across worlds. Difficulty, SS rank. The Codex accepted, no hesitation. Golden pages unfurled across the platform. Reyes grinned. I like your style. Mira drew her blades, liquid metal singing. Oracles, orbs spun faster. The first Void-born appeared. Hulking shadows with too many limbs, eyes like black holes, bodies flickering between realities. They charged. Our 2 groups met them as one. Jax and Mira flanked, fists and blades carving through shadow flesh. Brahm and Reyes held the center. Hammer shockwaves meeting quantum bullets that rewound time on impact. Lyriel and Oracle provided range support. Poison arrows meeting timeline orbs that aged enemies to dust in seconds. Seraphine and Kairos rewrote the battlefield. Violet rifts merging with blue code grids, turning Void-born attacks into paradoxes that unraveled them. I anchored the line. Page burst after page burst. Rebellion echo countering their reality warps. The wave broke. But more came. Endless. Then the Codex pinged. Urgent. Architect direct intervention detected. Void-born Alpha incoming. Level? Null Sovereign. A colossal shadow rose from the largest rift, towering, eyeless, crowned with fractured realities. It spoke in the architect's voice. Enough games. Reality tore open around us. The battle for Etheria had truly begun. The Void-born Alpha rose from the largest rift like a nightmare given form. The Null Sovereign was no longer a shadow. It was absence made manifest. 30 meters tall, body a shifting mass of black voids connected by threads of fractured light. No face, no limbs in any conventional sense, just tendrils of nothingness that reached across platforms, erasing whatever they touched. Where it passed, reality thinned. Floating islands crumbled to dust, gravity wells collapsed into silent points. Time stuttered so that seconds stretched into minutes. Its presence alone suppressed sound. No roar, no footsteps, just an oppressive quiet that pressed against the skull. The Codex screamed warnings in my mind. Entity, Null Sovereign level, Architect proxy, abilities, reality erasure, instant delete on contact, null field expansion, suppresses all external systems in growing radius, timeline fracture, rewinds or fast-forwards local time, void consumption, absorbs defeated entities to grow. Weakness, overload with conflicting narratives plus stabilized physics anchors. Cannot exist where story and code agree perfectly. Oracle's small voice cut through the silence like a bell. It is the architect's hand. If it touches the heart spire, the fragment is lost. All of Etheria collapses into simulation reset. Myra's blades extended into long, liquid whips. Then we don't let it touch. Reyes spun his revolver, chambers glowing with probability rounds. We buy time. You six have the weirdest system synergy I've ever seen. Use it. I looked at my companions. Lyriel knocking an arrow laced with rebellion echo poison. From planting his hammer like an anchor. Jax cracking knuckles that rippled space. Kairos unfolding his staff in a full holographic array. Seraphine's crown flaring with controlled violet light. Then at the new allies, Mira, Reyes, Oracle. Full alliance quest sync, I said. Everyone links to the shared page. We become one story. Golden lines exploded outward, not just from me, but from all of us. Pages intertwined with blue code grids, violet fractures, quantum probabilities, timeline orbs, liquid edges. Hybrid multiversal synergy unlocked. The chorus of worlds. Effect. All participant abilities gain 300% potency when chained through narrative consensus. Reality rewrite cooldown reduced to once per battle. The Null Sovereign lunged, tendrils erasing the nearest platform in a silent blink. We moved. Jax launched first, momentum amplified by Kairos's gravity rewrite and Seraphine's emotional surge. He became a comet of raw force, fists slamming into a tendril. The void cracked, black nothingness fracturing like glass. Mira followed, blades whipping through the fracture, liquid metal slicing deeper, pulling threads of reality back into shape. Reyes fired, bullets that branched into infinite possibilities. Each hit forced the Sovereign to exist in multiple states at once, destabilizing its form. Oracle's orbs spun, aging sections of the Sovereign centuries and seconds, causing voids to decay into harmless dust. Brahm anchored the center, hammer shockwaves rippling outward, stabilized by Kairos's physics locks, turning the platform into an unbreakable stage. Lyriel vanished and reappeared on tendrils, arrows piercing weak points, poison spreading narrative rebellion through the void. Seraphine opened rifts, violet tears that swallowed Sovereign attacks and spat them back as fractured paradoxes. Kairos typed at impossible speed, blue grids rewriting the Sovereign's erasure into delayed deletion, buying precious seconds. I stayed at the core, channeling the full weight of our shared page. The Sovereign focused on me. A massive void sphere formed overhead, threatening to swallow the entire platform. I raised both hands. Reality rewrite active. The once per saga skill ignited. I spoke the words, not as command, but as undeniable truth. The Null Sovereign exists only where silence reigns. But here, in this place of shattered worlds, stories are louder than void. You are not absence. You are a story that was never finished. Be finished. Golden script burned across the Sovereign's form, pages forcing narrative closure. The creature writhed, silent scream tearing rifts wider. Tendrils lashed wildly. One caught Reyes, erasing his left arm in a blink. He cursed, switched the revolver to his right hand, fired point-blank into the tendril. Probability collapsed. The arm reappeared in a flash of quantum rewrite. Nice try, asshole. The Sovereign focused harder. The void sphere descended. I poured everything into the rewrite. Every destiny page we'd written detonated outward. Gold, blue, violet, quantum sparks, timeline echoes. The sphere met the wave and shattered. Shards of nothing rained down, harmless, dissolving before they touched us. The Null Sovereign staggered, body collapsing inward, voids folding on themselves like a dying star. Oracle's voice rang clear. Now, the core. I blinked forward, cloak teleport chained with Jax's momentum. My palm slammed against the center void, where the Architect's proxy heart pulsed. Rebellion echo, final pulse. Golden light flooded the darkness. The Sovereign imploded, silent collapse pulling rifts shut behind it. Reality snapped back. The Heartspire platform stabilized. The final Etherean fragment, a perfect, glowing page crystal, floated free from its hiding place in the Colosseum center. It drifted to me. Integration began immediately. Final Etherean fragment acquired. The convergence of voices. Full multiversal integration complete. Level up. You are now level 85. Party and allies, plus 15 levels each. Destiny page 15 written. The sovereign silenced. The chorus heard. Reward. Permanent multiversal anchor. Party can now travel rifts without disorientation. New title. Warden of Realities. Cosmic Legend. New skill. Chorus command. Temporarily summon echoes of allied worlds' powers. Reyes lowered his revolver, breathing hard. You crazy bastards actually did it. Mira sheathed her blades. The fragment's yours. But the architect will send worse next time. Oracle's hood shifted, revealing eyes that held countless timelines. There is one more piece, they said. The architect's core fragment, hidden in the origin realm. The birthplace of all systems. Reach it, and you can force a rewrite of everything. I looked at my companions, now 7 with the new allies watching closely. Then that's where we go next. The rift gate shimmered behind us, new destinations flickering in its crystal. But before we could move, a single whisper echoed through every mind. Well done, scribe. The architect's voice, calm, almost proud. But know this, the final rewrite requires sacrifice. One story must end for all to begin anew. The whisper faded. Silence fell. Jax broke it first. Sacrifice, huh? Sounds like bullshit. Lyriel gripped my hand. Whatever it costs, we pay it together. I nodded. Together. The gate opened wider, new worlds waiting. But in the quiet between heartbeats, the Codex added one last line. Page 16 began to write itself, ink still wet. The price yet to come.